2019 shapes up to be a great year for those looking for an affordable phone with no compromises. After the revolutionary Google Pixel 3a, now Motorola has come up with a budget model of its own that exceeds expectations. Hello guys, my name is Vic with PhoneArena, and in the past few days I have been using the new Motorola One Vision, a tall and narrow phone that I have grown quite fond of. The thing that stands out the most with the Motorola One Vision is the new format. The phone has a tall and narrow body thanks to the 21:9 Cinema Vision screen, different from most other phones that use wider screens. So why the 21:9 format, you wonder? Actually, it turns out that these are the exact proportions that filmmakers use to achieve that all-engulfing cinematic effect. So watching Netflix on this phone is an absolute joy. While such a narrow phone definitely looks a bit weird at first, I quickly got used to it, and such a design is perfect for one-handed use. For browsing and reading, however, this screen is not ideal, as you can see less text and you have to scroll more vigorously. Speaking of the screen, it's a 6.3-inch Full HD LCD display, so you don't get the newer AMOLED technology with rich colors and deep blacks. Not just that, but overall colors on the screen appear very cold, and whites have a ghostly blue tonality. Unfortunately, there is no way to tweak this in the settings, and this is a big letdown. The screen of a phone is one of its most important components, and sadly, Motorola didn't do a great job with it here. As cool as this new design is, it comes with one interruption in the form of a quite big and noticeable cutout, right here in the front for the front camera. We have seen this punch hole design in the Galaxy S10 series, but here the hole for the camera is just way bigger and way more noticeable. Motorola says it could make it smaller, but that would have compromised the durability of the phone, and the larger cutout ensures a thicker bezel and more protection for the front camera in case of a drop. And that's a good reason, but we still wished that cutout was not as huge. The phone also uses a traditional fingerprint scanner on the back, right where the Moto logo stands, and it's a fast and reliable fingerprint scanner that works well. And since we started with the screen and with watching videos, there is one more thing that we love about this phone: the loudspeaker. It's surprisingly good. Sound is powerful, punchy, and has depth to it, especially surprising considering that the phone uses just one bottom-firing speaker. Good job, Motorola. Speaking of sound, we should also say that you get a headphone jack at the top of the phone, but not just this, you also get a pair of quite decent headphones for free in the box. Under the hood, the Motorola One Vision is powered by a Samsung-made octa-core Exynos chip with 4 GB of RAM on board. Now this processor is similar in performance to the Snapdragon 660 series, meaning that it is nowhere nearly as good as a flagship phone, but this doesn't mean that the phone is slow, quite the opposite. In the daily grind it felt zippy, apps load fast, there's no stutter, actually is a very smooth experience. Now gamers, however, would miss the extra performance power of a flagship. We were also pleasantly surprised by the generous 128 GB of storage that you get on board here. Now that is twice as much as most phones in this price range, and it's also twice as much as you get on the more expensive Pixel 3a. The One Vision also has a hybrid card slot, so you can either use it as a dual SIM device or use it as a single SIM phone with a microSD card. The interface here is Android One, which is a clean and bloatware-free version of Android, and this is a great thing. Motorola is also promising 2 major updates, so as this phone currently runs on Android 9 Pie, you will get the Android 10Q update this year and the Android 11R next year. You also get Moto actions, a few useful tricks that Moto phones have had in the last couple of years. Twist the phone to quickly start the camera, double chop to turn on the flashlight, and touch the screen with 3 fingers to capture a screenshot. Turning to the camera, you get a 48 megapixel main shooter and a 5 megapixel secondary camera that captures depth, while up front you have a 25 megapixel selfie camera. Motorola uses all these resources to combine 4 pixels into 1 to achieve better image quality, so the actual photos that you get are 12 megapixels from the main camera and 6 megapixels from the front one. Now numbers, however, never tell the whole story about the quality of a phone camera. What matters is how photos and videos actually look. and the Motorola One Vision camera is good. Just good, not extraordinary in any way, especially when you compare it against new heavyweights like the Google Pixel 3a. During the day, photos are well exposed and the colors are pleasingly realistic, not too strong or too bleak. The camera is also quick to capture photos and works reliably well, all great points. What we don't like is that whenever you have something brighter in the photo, like the skies for example, those brighter areas are basically always burned and you just don't have enough dynamic range. Portrait mode works quite well too, and you can capture portraits with a blurred background with the front camera as well. We also love the cinemagraph option in the camera interface. Now, cinemagraphs are basically a photograph, part of which is moving, and this format just invites you to get creative. It's awesome. At night, you have two options. The first one is to just shoot, and the photos that you get are quite dark, blurry, just not very good. However, you can do something else too. You can switch to the night vision mode, and wow, what a huge difference this makes. First, the night vision mode is surprisingly quick. It takes less than a second to capture a photo, so you don't need to wait for a long time like with say Huawei phones, but the results are also truly impressive. No, this is not the next Google Pixel 3 or 3a, but it really is not too far behind. Colors, dynamic range, all of that looks great with this mode, and only when you blow up the images on a big screen, you see the typical issues with such shots like over-sharpening and the lesser detail. For video, you can record it up to 4K and 30 frames per second. Many other phones in this price range don't have 4K video, so we appreciate having the option, but the quality is just not great. Video turns out a bit shaky, colors appear a bit washed out, and the focus hunts around a bit. In terms of battery life, the Moto One Vision scored above the average in our charts, and in real life we had absolutely no issues going a full long day, but this is not a phone that would last much longer than that. Thankfully, you have an 18-watt quick charger in the box, so the battery tops up in less than 2 hours. Despite the glass back, the phone does not support wireless charging. Okay, all things considered, is the new Motorola One Vision the budget phone that you should buy in 2019? For a price of around $300, it offers excellent value for the money. It is fast, the new tall and narrow format is easy to get used to, it's comfortable for one-handed use, and its night vision photos turn out surprisingly great. However, Motorola has really let us down with the screen. We don't mind the LCD technology, but we don't like that colors just look too cold and ghostly on it. And if you value a great screen as much as we do, then you would know that it's hard to recommend the Moto One Vision for this one reason. And this wraps up our review. Thanks for staying with us until the end. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more. My name is Vic Christoph, it was my pleasure talking to you, and I will see you next time, right here on PhoneArena.